Alrighty, so it's time for the monthly financials. If you're new here, I am an open book about everything I make and spend money on to run my Amazon FBA business. I do mainly online arbitrage at this point. I used to do RA, and I'm going to take you into Inventory Lab, and we're going to look at my profit and loss statement. We're going to go over the meat and potatoes. I'm going to walk you through every single one of the expenses needed to run my business. And at the end of this, I'm also going to share with you how my mindset continues to shift month after month, where I'm at in the journey as well, and to provide some value. I always want to be an open book. I want you to know what's realistic, what people really make. A lot of people post their sales numbers. Sales truly don't paint the whole picture. And by the way, if you've been along for the journey, I'm coming live from my Airbnb apartment that we have on our property. It was empty, it was quiet. I figured let's roll with it. Alrighty, so here I have my computer open in front of me and I have Inventory Lab pulled up in the profit and loss statement for November of 2022. So let's go through that. So top right here, you'll see where my cursor is. I did $55,288.89. So my best sales month I've ever had. So really proud of that. I think it's important to take time to reflect on how far I've come for myself. I remember being excited about $8,000 my first month doing this. So, and I feel like we're just getting started. So I'm happy about that. Underneath that, refunds. I think this is worth pointing out. I haven't pointed this out before. So over $2,700 in refunds. Okay, so items that get returned basically for the most part. And if you do the math on that, if I'm doing this off the top of my head, I think that's about 5%. Okay. And so just to give you a realistic idea, that stuff does happen and it's just part of the game. There's no retail business where returns will not be involved. It's not worth getting upset over. I'm a huge fan of Amazon's return policy, despite sellers not liking it. Because it's so customer focused, I strongly believe people buy more frequently and more quantity because of it. So overall, I think it's a net good thing. All right. And it's just part of the game. After that, some other generic stuff, reimbursements, shipping credits, stuff like that. Then we get into some of the expenses. I always like to pause at cost of goods sold, $31,579.97. And I always like to take a moment to emphasize this is how much money I spent on the goods that sold in the month of November. That is not how much I spent on new goods in the month of November. Okay, so whether I bought the product in January, in March, in April, whenever I bought it, this is only accounting for the items that sold in the month of November. Okay, so that's not how much I spent. That's how much I spent on the goods that sold in November, just so you know. Okay. Then we have Amazon selling fees and transaction fees. We just call those Amazon fees. Basically, totals about 30%, however you cut it. Okay, and I did the math before this, and I was right around there. Other than that, you have some storage fees, removal order fees, just things that are going to come with Amazon's policies and using their warehouses. And then we get into the expenses. Okay, and I like to go over these so that you have a realistic idea of what it takes to run a business at my size. Okay, so I have them here in front of me, and we'll go over those in a second rather than bore you on the screen item by item, because I do like to give them a little explanation. But if we continue scrolling, in the bottom left here, you're going to see a net profit of $5,149.61. Okay, and so when you have the top line of 55,000 and the bottom line is 5,149, when I say that accounts for every single one of my expenses, I mean that genuinely. There's no hidden agenda for me. I want to be very transparent. And that's just right around a 10% profit margin. Okay. I think that I used to think that would be way higher, but I also don't think if I accounted for this pre-expenses and stuff, it might be 12, 13, 15%. And everybody reports their profit to the public differently. I'm letting you know that's what I'm clearing after everything. And one other thing that's not accounted for here, I always talk about this now, is cashback, because cashback is a huge, huge part of online arbitrage. I use a 2% cashback credit card. So every single purchase I make online, I'm getting 2% back. And I spend on average between $30,000 and $35,000 a month. Okay. So that in itself is $700. But also there's cashback extensions like Rakuten, Rebates Me, Top Cashback, and the list goes on. And that varies on the majority of my purchases between one and November was a crazy month with Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I was buying a lot of things at 20% cash back. I can't give you an exact number because there's so many transactions and there's so much lag time when it comes to these extensions. But when you combine my 2% cashback credit card, especially for the month of November, I'm very comfortable saying I got at least 5% cashback on average for the month. Let's say I spent 30K, 5%, 2% on the credit card, that's 7% of 30,000. That's another $2,100 to the bottom line, and it's not taxable. So actually, I would make the argument that cashback money is more valuable than profit on Amazon in the Amazon world because of that no need for taxing. There's no price tanking. You know you're going to get it. Okay, so when you factor in that, really, I'm probably making somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000 for the month after everything. All right, so let's go through my expenses now. I spent a total of $1,217 in the month as a whole to run my business. And let me walk you through everything. Inventory Lab, $70 a month. Basically, it is a great tool that allows you to have the premier scanning app. It comes with Scoutify 2, helps create reports like my profit and loss you saw. It makes creating shipments a breeze, helps doing product research on a laptop so much easier, in my opinion, than any other way to do it. And I can go on and on and on. I'm going to have a video on a deep dive of that, but Inventory Lab to me is like a must. Amazon seller account, you have to have the pro one for $40. Insurance, on average, I pay $60 a month, $720-ish for the year. Keepa, about $20 a month. Seller Amp, about $20 a month. REPRICER, $65 a month. And I've been starting to use a prep center. And the thing about prep centers is that unlike a lot of things that there's lag time, right? I buy something today and it doesn't sell for 8 weeks. A prep center, I have to pay them for that product now to get it shipped out. So $453. I'm only using them for maybe, I don't know, 15, 20% of my inventory. One being that it's Q4. And two, I'm not someone to just put all my eggs in one basket. I'm working out my relationship with them and making sure I like how everything's going. I'm also using my mom to do some prepping as well, and she's getting paid for it. So that was something that's relatively new to my expenses. Also, currently, I do have an Amazon loan, a big one that I took out. I've made videos on why. I'm paying interest on that, on average, $400 a month. And a lawyer, I found an Amazon lawyer that's $89 a month. And basically, he's on retainer. And I mainly did that because I was getting some cease and desist letters from brands and I wanted to go through Q4 smoothly. Frankly, I think I might drop that, but it does give me some peace of mind. So I'm still on the fence about that. I know some other big sellers are doing that. I can't really speak to if it's worth it or not. It's probably one of those things like any insurance. You don't need it till you need it, right? And then it would be worth it. So anyway, $1,217 is what it cost me. And again, that was all factored in to my profit and loss statement that I presented to you guys. So I still made 7 to 8 grand, give or take, even after all of these expenses. Okay. But just know, I do like to mention, especially to people early on, you don't need these many expenses. You need an Amazon seller account and you need Keepa, in my opinion, to get started. And that is it. Start with the bare bones if you're on a budget and you just go from there. With time, it'll be obvious to you when you need a repricer. With time, it'll be obvious to you you want a better shipping platform like Inventory Lab instead of creating shipments in Amazon Seller Central. I'm such an advocate. Just get started. Don't worry about all of this stuff. I'm almost 3 years into the journey and doing 55,000 in sales. When I first started, I barely had anything. All right, so before signing off, let me just give you some updates on where I'm at in this journey. Every single month, I continue to learn new things and have light bulb moments and tinker with my schedule. So let me leave you a couple of tidbits that I think are valuable. Okay, for one, it has become so crystal clear to me the effects of compounding everything when it comes to Amazon. And what I mean by that is I've put in so many reps, I've read so many Keepa charts that now I probably only source 2 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week, even during this crazy time of year around Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Now, maybe I increased that a little, but for me, It works so well. I only have so many focused hours I can do sitting in front of a computer. And I'm a morning person. So I do that from like 7 to 9, 7 to 10, after I wake up, after I go to the gym. And then that's it, right? Some admin, some prep stuff throughout the day. But I'm pretty much done with Amazon stuff all in by 10 o'clock. And I find that by doing it every day and being focused for just a couple hours, I continue to roll over day after day what I learned the previous day, right? So it's not like I forget about all these leads and ideas that I had the previous day, but also like I look forward to it and I'm not dreading a 5, 6 hour session. And I'm not also just loosely going, say, oh, I'm going to source today. It's no, I'm going to source today between 7 and 9 or 7 to 10. I'm going to be focused on it. My phone's going to be away. And then I can go to other endeavors in my life. Like I have another small business, family, YouTube content, other things that I'm working on. Okay. And I have found that to be a game changer in my business. And I'm also able to do that because I have put in so many reps that sourcing is much more efficient. So I guess what I would say is stick to it. And then also, if you're struggling with time management, I can't advocate enough. It's become so clear to me this deep work, short blocks, burst, and whatever time works best for you. All right. So that's one thing. It's become crystal clear to me. Another thing, as we approach the end of the year, I think about goals for 2023 and what I want. And I go back and forth all the time, and I'm going to make videos on this, but I don't know that I'm someone that just wants to do the crazy scaling. I mean, I'm at 55K, right? I said I spend around 30, 35 a month. Let's just say in January, I spend 30. I could see then spending 31 in February, 32 in March, 33 in April. And by the end of the year, I'm going to be spending 40K. But I don't see it as a rush. Like, I don't have this I have to get it done in this amount of time. I am making good money, as we went over, 7 to 8K, more than pays for my lifestyle, more than covers everything and beyond. And it gives me free time to focus on other things. I have another small business outside of this. And as much as I love Amazon, and it is a business, there's no exit strategy. I can't sell my arbitrage business, right? And it's one of the reasons I also am creating YouTube content and other things is because I hope I can diversify my income streams of Amazon. I don't want to have to take on a million VAs. I don't want to have to deal with more and more prep centers. I really like where I'm at. I can basically easily manage everything 2 to 3 hours a day, making good money and slowly and steadily scale. Now, next Q4, I'll probably go really, really hard, but throughout the year, I've got a great schedule. I'm making good money. And if you continue to scale, you continue to tie up cash flow. And I want to be able to pay myself. And I'm probably going to start taking out $2,000 to $3,000 a month consistently, as opposed to just when I need it here and there, so that I know. I think it's important in business that you pay yourself, or else it kind of can lose some of the value of it. And then hopefully I can turn that money into a rental property one day and things of that nature. So that's another place that I'm at. It's just, I'm really happy with my schedule, despite online posting and everything like that. I'm cool scaling methodically. I want to cash flow. I don't want to be cash poor and inventory rich forever. I've done it. I'm not kind of into it at this point in time, and I really like my schedule. And then last thing I'll say is this is my third Q4, but the first one that I've really dug into online arbitrage, and the sales and the opportunity in November are legitimate. I'm starting to see my sales in December. I'm on pace to do like 70 to 80K, which would by far and away be my best month. But I just now know for next year too. And I'm also proud that, like, you have to experience it for yourself. You can hear advice from everyone, but you only know what you know. Like, I'm not going to change my game plan because other people are doing it because they've been around longer. They've put in more reps. They have more capital. I don't know what it is, but it's not me. But I do know this: the amount of sales for November are crazy. And talking about that compounding, the more brands I know, the more sites I know, the more ASINs I have, the more great sales now make sense to me. Okay. But it takes time. It always takes time. Everything in life takes time. And I think people get so discouraged, but just know it's a long-term play. So those were a couple of things I just wanted to update you with. I like to do that at the end. We're going to continue to do this every month, going over the numbers. I appreciate you guys being here. Any questions, comments, topics, let me know. Have a great day. We're on Instagram and Spotify as well. And I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.